Hello, love, and welcome to the new moon 7 planetary alignment, Venus retrograde, all of this in Pisces season. Cosmic bundle, we're calling it. I am so excited that you're here. If you are new to my world, my name is Lauren Dorsey. I am an intuitive, a facilitator, a practitioner, and I like to keep labels very general because I am extremely tapped into my intuition and my spiritual gifts, and I like to use them in any way that I feel intuitively guided to. So I try not to keep labels or titles too closely with my name, but if you're new here, those are some of the things you can expect in my world. I like to focus on a total mind, body, soul, and spirit kind of totality or wellness, because I believe that we are, it's like that's what makes up the whole of who we are. So all of that said, today is a new moon. Tomorrow is a pretty powerful alignment of 7 different planets. Saturday is Venus going retrograde all the way through April 12th. So it's about a month and a half of Venus retrograde. We are currently in the season of Pisces, and Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. And just a little bit of, in numerology, I'll give you a little tip on that, is I like to think of this as like the number 10, although there's more signs than 10. In numerology, 9 is like that mastery, right? It's like that ending. We're getting ready to close the door, or we are closing the door. 10 is the energy of like 1, which is new beginnings, and 0, which is like that fresh start. And then 11 is kind of like when you're taking that first step through the door. So the season we're in right now is kind of between that 9 and 10, if you can think of it that way. We're in that season of, we are just getting ready to close that door. We are processing everything that has happened up into this point. And at the same time, we have a new moon and planetary alignments that are kind of accelerating us forward into fresh starts and new beginnings. I always like to say that the true new year comes when Aries season approaches, right? Or when spring approaches. When we think about the energy of that season of things blossoming, right? Like new blooms coming up through the dirt, up towards the sun. Everything is getting lighter. The sun is shining. The days are longer with sunlight. And that is really where it feels a sense of renewal, refresh, new year, fresh starts. So with all of that said, I want to kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown of what to expect energetically over this next week, and a little bit through March and April, but I'm not going to get too deep into that. I want to keep the energy really focused in the present. And what you can expect over the next few days here, along with some channeled guidance and messages that you can use along the way. So let's get started. We talked about how today is Thursday, February 27th, if you're here in the States and close by. We have a new moon in Pisces. Now, this new moon is being called the most spiritual new moon of the year. Why is that? Well, we are dealing with Pisces energy, which is, again, all about intuition, healing, surrender, that just think of that deep soul reflection. Pisces is a water sign, so water is all about fluidity, emotion, kind of going with the flow. The spirit animal of the Pisces is the fish, right? So think about a fish swimming through the water. That is the energy of Pisces. This new moon is currently very closely conjunct Neptune, which is also Pisces ruler, right? So this is about heightened intuition. You may have vivid dreams, right? Experiencing that deep emotional healing. I know even for me, as I sat down to do this, I started feeling this like whoosh feeling almost, and this little bit of like a buzzing or a tingling right in my third eye area. And if I wasn't so in tune with my body and my energetics and spirituality, I might think, whoa, I just got really dizzy, or a little sense of vertigo, or maybe an oncoming headache. But because I'm in tune with that, and because we're in Pisces season, I knew to kind of slow down and connect with that and go, okay, what is this trying to show me? What is this calling me into? And immediately I went, whoa, little third eye activation there going on. What's coming up? What's going on here? And I was able to really sit with that and feel into it. I want to be very clear. When I say to sit with something and really connect into it or tune into what it's trying to show you or tell you, this does not have to be a long, kind of drawn out process. This can be a very quick, kind of fleeting moment where you get the goosies, or you have that aha moment, or even just something that kind of pulls you back in and asks you to just pause for a moment and take a deep breath and just acknowledge it, right? So it can be that quick as well. So follow what feels good with that, connecting in with your own flow, your own intuition, and see what comes up when you notice those little things. So the themes of this new moon. Let me first start by saying new moons are all about those new beginnings. When you think about a lunar cycle or a new cycle and how it connects with us as humans, and even specifically with women, right? Because women go through their own cycle. The new moon is that time of release. How do I want to say this? A lot of people kind of attach this idea of like releasing and letting go and release what's not serving us with the full moon. The full moon is actually the halfway point through a cycle. So the full moon is time for you to kind of look back and reflect on what has happened since the new moon and go, okay, I've gathered all this information. I've gathered all these ideas and experiences. Here's what's working. Here's what's not. Super grateful for everything that I've gained in these past 2 weeks. However, here's what I'm ready to leave behind and continue forward on this journey through this completion of this cycle, right? So while most of us think that full moons are the time of release and letting go, new moons are really the time to do that. It's really the time for us to look at the full cycle leading up to this, and really taking a look, reflecting, kind of going inward. If you think about the new moon, it's called the dark moon. This is the dark phase. This is where our energy is lower. It's about more intimate or inward experiences. I'm even hearing for some of you, like, if you're experiencing migraines or a lot of headaches right now, it's because your body and your spirit are really trying to pull you inward into a space of like darkness and silence for spiritual reflection. Now, I want to be super clear here. I'm not a doctor. If you're experiencing migraines and headaches, please, don't take this as medical advice. However, in the energy of somatics, there's a book, it's called The Body Keeps the Score. It's one of my favorites to recommend to people just understanding where energetics are stored in the body. Sometimes with spirituality and energetic blocks, we can experience, and with like ascension symptoms and spiritual symptoms, we can experience physical things like headaches, migraines, dizziness, things like that. All of that is connected through the third eye and the crown chakra. And I'm also hearing, even for some of you, it's like the throat chakra. If you tend to get, thank you. And even in the heart chakra, if you tend to get like tight shoulders and neck pain, and that triggers you into a migraine, a lot of the upper and the midway chakras there. What I mean by midway is like the central chakra in the 7 chakras in the body. The heart is like the central point. We have the lower chakras and the upper. So from like the heart up can sometimes create some physical symptoms in the body, such as migraine, sore throat, thyroid, things like that, vertigo. Think anything in the upper body. Again, this is not medical advice. I am not a doctor, but if you have these kind of fleeting experiences that are not attached to an illness or a diagnosis or anything like that, I would just encourage you to check out somatics and some of the spiritual energy that could be happening around you. That message was kind of specific for a few of you who are listening. That message won't be for everyone, but just because I kind of went a little deep into that and got way off track from the new moon, that message felt pretty significant for a few of you. I want to bring it back to, I'm going to leave that energy alone, releasing that with love and light and sending you deep healing. Okay, so the themes of this new moon is really about letting go of old cycles and trusting the divine timing of things. And the reason for that is because we're in Pisces, again, that final sign of the zodiac, where we are closing out chapters. It's almost like if you think about setting intentions for a new year, this would be like the time to do that, because we're stepping into that new zodiac cycle. The new Chinese zodiac, like Aries season, is the first sign or season of the zodiac. We're kind of stepping into that. Spring is that time of blossoming, new beginnings, rebirth, renewal. So right now we're in this energy of closing out chapters. And with the new moon, we're also setting those intentions of how we want to move forward. So letting go of those old cycles and trusting the divine timing. I'm hearing that you may be in a point of really wanting to grip tightly to control. And what I mean about control, this is not to say that like you're controlling. This could even be coming from a place of fear, but like really needing to see the final ending point before you even are willing to take a first step. Like a little bit of perfectionism, maybe, like really having to know without a doubt that this is going to be successful before you'll even take a risk, right? And it was 11/11 as I started this message. So this is definitely significant for a few of you. If that's you, I'm sending you love. I know that it's very difficult sometimes. And, you know, that message even feels like it could be a little bit for myself. You know, it's so hard sometimes and we just want to control every aspect of what is happening. But the truth is, when we fully surrender, which again is what Pisces energy is all about, when we fully surrender to the divine timing and the divine plan, and we trust, we connect into our spirit guides, our intuition, that higher wisdom, you know, that this is the perfect time for that manifestation and inner work, the setting the intentions for the future, getting into a space of meditation and inner work. This is a powerful time for like dream journaling, intuitive writing, receiving those spiritual downloads. I have a lot of those inside my membership, a lot of guided practices for that are short, some are longer. Another thing to do right now is like cleansing rituals. So salt baths, breath work, energy clearing, right? Those things, and a lot of movement, that is going to help with the releasing and letting go. Remember, we're in the year of the snake as well. Snakes are all about that transition, shedding of the old skin, shedding of old identities. The snake remains who it is at its core, but it kind of releases that outer shell, that outer layer, so this new version of it can emerge through. That's kind of the energy that I'm feeling with you right now. And really tuning into those soul-aligned desires versus some of these ego-based goals. If you listened into my 222 energy, the channeled cosmic guidance and message there, we talked a lot about that, about manifestation, why some of your manifestations aren't working. No matter how much inner work you do, no matter how many practices and techniques you do, the manifestations just aren't working. And the reason for that can be, some of them can be ego-based and not truly soul-aligned desires. And what I mean by that is, and this is a perfect example, 1333 on the timer as I'm saying this, so look at that number, 333 specifically. One example where I see this a lot is in like the network marketing or in sales, right, of any kind, is because we are in the outside world, I guess really in any performance-based kind of career or life, we place our self-worth and our value on it, hitting a rank or a title or reaching a certain goal or a level. And when we don't reach that, we tell ourselves we're not good enough, right? And so really getting in alignment, it's like, okay, if you want to hit this rank of like XYZ, why? And I'm talking why at a soul level, not why because it's like, well, it has a bonus of 10 grand, or, oh, I get this, or, oh, I get that, or I get a plaque with my name on it in my office. Okay, cool. But why? And keep digging into that. For some of you, you may find that you are manifesting things that your soul doesn't even care about. It's like, no, this is such a human-based way of thinking that when you really tap into the soul, you realize at a soul level, you didn't really care about the rank. It was more about, what is the word? Please give me the word for this. because I don't want to say attention because it isn't, it's like the accolades, right? It's like you're trying to kind of build up your profile. It's not about like attention seeking. It's about building up accolades. And yeah, if you get a bonus for it, it's like, what is that money going to do for you though? It's like, oh, well, it creates freedom and liberation for me to go do this, right? So that really is what it is. It's not about the rank. It's about you're seeking out the freedom and liberation. You're seeking to build up your accolades, or you're seeking to, how do I want to say this? Reaching certain levels of leadership, whether it be in your career, in a company, in your own life, in your family. So really digging into the solar line desires versus just ego-based or human-based manifestations. This moon is really a great time for you to get super, super clear on that. And we talk all about this inside my Soul Shift program. I'm going to do a shameless plug here for that. 1555, as I'm saying that, 555 is all about positive transformation and change. That is not a coincidence. Inside of Soul Shift, we go in deep. There's tons of in-depth information in there about really connecting into those soul-aligned ways of being, those soul-aligned desires. Everything I just talked about, we get into kind of the mechanics and the behind the scenes of that. So leaving that energy alone there, that support is there for you if you need it. Let me shift into what's coming up tomorrow, Friday, February 28th. Again, here in the States, some of the timing could be off depending on your time zone where you are in the world. February 28th here in the States, we have 7 planets aligning. This is it's super rare, okay? It's like a rare cosmic alignment. It's taking place just after sunset here. Look it up in your time zone. It is a powerhouse planetary alignment, okay? We have Saturn, Mercury, Neptune, Venus, Uranus, Jupiter, and Mars, okay? This is creating, and if you don't understand the energies of these, I'll tell you in like a few words of each one, but we're creating an intense frequency shift. Okay. First of all, frequency, we talk all about vibe, energy, right? Your vibe attracts your vibe. Vibe is short for vibration. Vibration is vibrational frequency. That's what energy is. It's all the same. Okay. So a frequency shift, alignment, powerful activations. Yes, it is a massive manifestation portal, but I want you to understand something. These portals amplify energy, okay? So when you're hearing, this is a manifestation portal, no, every portal is a manifestation portal. It's because it amplifies energy. Manifestation is not just manifesting a brand new car. We manifest 24/7. Manifestation is just bringing your current energy to life, matching you with your current frequency. So when we're experiencing a frequency shift, it's important to use the energy properly to get into alignment with what it is that your soul desires are, not the human-based desires, right? So, okay, Saturn's all about like structure, discipline, that long-term vision, right? That's very like masculine energy. Mercury is like clear thinking, divine messages, conscious communication, and physical communication. We all know those Mercury retrogrades. Mercury is not retrograde right now, but it is lining up with some of these other planets here. So Neptune we talked about a few minutes ago, spiritual downloads, heightened intuition, dreamy energy, right? Like thinking, like dreaming big. Venus is all about like love, harmony, abundance, self-worth, beauty, aesthetic, creativity, bougie, right? That luxury woman. Uranus. So Uranus is about like the sudden shifts, those unexpected awakenings and breakthroughs. Uranus usually oversees that kind of energy. Jupiter brings expansion, optimism, new possibilities, bold power. And then Mars is the planet of action, courage, willpower, like doing the dang thing, right? Like, let's get to work. So when you have all of these planets coming into a straight line, yes, it's creating this like, oh, I'm almost seeing it, Spirit showing me as like this like cosmic line. I don't know why I'm thinking of like that Starlink. Don't come for me. This is not political, but that Starlink that you see in the sky where it's like just a straight line of like flashing lights and like cosmic energy. That's kind of the way that they're showing it to me for like a visual. So this is a massive portal. It's bringing cosmic alignment that is supporting not just personal, but like collective shifts in energy. One thing I want to remind you is that you are here and you're learning about this and you're embracing this energy. It is affecting and influencing everyone. So like when your kids or your spouse or your coworker or even your dog, right? Or the animals, like the person in the grocery store, the people out on the road, when everybody seems to be like acting crazy, you know, whatever. Just know that it is not only affecting you, it's affecting everyone. So keep that in mind. Now, the theme of this is like a blend of, remember, that divine intuition and practical steps. It's about finding balance between the structure and the flow. So we talked about Pisces season being that flowy energy, remembering feeling like a fish kind of swimming upstream or downstream, whatever it is, as well as balancing out structure. So this is really, a great time for you to, I would say, spend time in meditation, dreaming, dreaming big. It's like, I love to tell my clients this, and this is always like a reflective prompt in the beginning of any private coaching session with me, is like, if money, time, and location were not an issue, then what would it be? Like, then what your dreams be? Then what would your, vision look like? Because let's just pretend money, time, and location, like I always say this across all time, space, and reality. Time, space, reality, money, whatever, it was not a thing. It was not an issue. Then what would your dreams be? This is the time to dream like that. And here's why. You know the saying, it's like shoot for the stars, and even if you don't, or what is that saying? It's like shoot for the moon, and even if you don't land on the moon, you'll still land somewhere between the stars. I don't know, whatever that is. I'm in channel mode, so I can't remember these human things, but you know that saying? It's kind of like that. This is like dream so big as if nothing is a block or a limit. And then you can kind of reverse engineer it as you bring in the balance of the structure. So how are we working with this? Just like I said, meditation, breath work, we're going to really anchor the energy in. Now, I offer private oracle readings. However, if you have cards and you want to pull some for yourself, whatever you want to do that. Like, work with a tool. The reason I'm saying to work with a tool through this energy is it brings in kind of that masculine energy, right? We want to stay in tune with our intuition, but bringing in some tools makes it kind of fun. So we're really in the intuitive feminine energy, but then we're also using the tools. So if it's like oracle cards, if it's a pendulum, whatever it is. And then journaling. What is feeling out of alignment for you and what really needs to shift? Here's why I love journaling. Journaling is like same thing. It brings balance because it moves the energy from us, like that's inside of us, and it actually moves it out of us. It gives us a place to put it out on paper. 2323 on the timer as I was saying that. Look up that angel number. You're actually writing it out, right? So there's a physical action, right? Which is that masculine. And then there's the feminine where it's like you're sitting in the feelings. Journaling is so powerful for that. And if you need a recommendation for a journal, my book is right on Amazon. It's called Aligned, a 90-day guided journey, excuse me, to self-love and soul alignment. Somebody's got some throat chakra stuff going on. Excuse me, I have to take a sip here. This all started as I was channeling, so thank you. Okay. All right. So that is all about the 7 planetary alignments. So thank you. Spirit is asking me to move along. So let's move into this Venus retrograde. That is happening Saturday, March 1st through April 12th. Again, if you're in another country or in another time zone, that might be off by a day or two either direction. First of all, again, Venus is that planet that rules love, money, relationships, self-worth, aesthetic, beauty, all of those things, right? So when the planet is in retrograde, these are the areas of our lives that go through a deep review. Now, if you're into astrology in your birth charts, I would even look at where these planets and all of this is landing in your specific chart. Like what house is it in? And then see where it's directly related to that in your life. Now it's retrograding in Aries. And again, Aries is the upcoming sun sign, right? Aries is that independence, that claiming power, right? And love and finances. That's that fiery energy. So some things that you can kind of expect through this retrograde is like relationship themes can come to the surface, right? And what I mean by that is relationships, it's probably going to be more through love, but you can see this in business, in family, in close friendships, because let me reverse that. When I say not in love, I mean like romantic love, right? But you can also see it in those other areas. It's because what tends to happen is because it's going to bring up like those old unresolved patterns in relationships, those old karmic cycles that we find ourselves in, right? Because we don't really just live that out in our romantic relationships. We live those out in all relationships. So if you tend to go through things in your romantic relationships, you may actually see some of those same patterns in your friendships and in the people who you get close to, like even at work, right? Because it's inside of us. It's who we're calling in. It's who we're attracting in relationships and partnership. Something else that you can expect is things coming up around self-worth and money, but a recalibration of that. So like reevaluating financial decisions and values. Again, we talked about those ego-based manifestations. We're placing value on a title, a rank, these very human 3D type of things, labels, titles, and all of that. If you can really take a step back and do a little bit of like an energetic recalibration around self-worth and money. I'm also hearing for some of you, this is going to be down in that root chakra. So you might even be experiencing like low back pain, doing some stretching and yoga poses, opening up the hips, the low back area. I feel like that's going to be significant for a couple of you. If you start to notice that through this retrograde, know that that's what's happening. So you can really work with it when you have this awareness. And then really getting clear on like, what is it that you truly desire in your relationships, in your business, in self-care, right? So I want to give you some journaling prompts. They'll be inside the e-guide here. But it's just really about like noticing where you have maybe settled in love or in your finances. And then like what, if you could think of what radical self-love truly looks like for you. I also have a free heart healing breathwork and energy clearing on my YouTube channel. You can find that. One thing I will say through this energy is to really avoid impulsive decisions around anything with love, money, even beauty changes like cosmetic procedures like, Botox, permanent makeup, things like that. The reason for that, even like I'm even hearing like some of you are gonna have this like urge to like chop your hair and all this. It's because as we move through a retrograde in this energy, it forces us to see ourselves differently. It's like when you're in retrograde, I want you to think about Mercury retrograde because that seems to be the one everybody gives the most attention to. When we're in a Mercury retrograde, it's like the things that usually work aren't working, right? So it's like technology, car, travel, things like that. So when you're thinking about Venus and the energy of love and beauty and self-worth and finances and relationships in retrograde, it doesn't mean that things aren't working, but we are seeing them differently than we normally do. So if you're kind of looking at yourself and I'm like, you're like, I'm so tired of long hair, I just want to chop it. Or, I think I want bangs. Girl, don't get the bangs. I am hearing from your guide, somebody, it's like, girl, don't get the bangs. I don't know who that's for. Because typically I'm like, it's hair, it grows back, but I am hearing that pretty loudly for somebody. But whatever, embrace what you need to. But the truth, they're just being funny. But the truth of it is like, the way you look at yourself, and this is why it's good to go inward and really start feeling into like authentic beauty. Again, we go through all of this in the Soul Shift program, but really understanding soul love versus self-love, and authentic beauty versus just like what we see on TV, what we see in the media, what's trending, right? So avoid any like impulsive big decisions during this Venus retrograde. I will also say, because I'm hearing for a couple of you that some of the changes you want to make are like things that you have been desiring, and you almost get this bold desire and inspiration. What's the word I want to say? Like you get this like motivation to go just do it. If that's the case and it's something you've been desiring up to this point, go after it, because this retrograde is like stripping away that fear and pushing you into it. But if it's something that is like just came up in that time and you're like, oh my God, why did I chop my hair? Why did I dye it black? You know, whatever. Just know that those like urges are an impulsive, like nudges are probably coming from this retrograde, and it will be short-lived. It will be over by April 12th. So that message is pretty strong for a couple of you as well. So then March 2nd is Sunday. On that day, Mercury is going conjunct with Saturn in Pisces. So this is that like reality check moment. This is why it's important to kind of work with this energy leading up to it in your daily practices. And again, it's like 5 minutes is all you, if you can do more, but don't get overwhelmed by this. It's kind of like just having this awareness allows you to, in the back of your mind, when things come up, you're like, oh, I know what this is, you know? So this is like your reality check day. And I love that it's falling on a Sunday, because Sundays are usually my day for like staying indoors, kind of like setting the energy for the week. This is a day for like clarity and deep reflection. So some of those like harsh truths and realizations that you really need to hear or like remember can rise up to the surface. It's a great time for like long-term visioning, soul-aligned goal setting. I want to like keep saying that word, soul-aligned goal setting, in bold letters. Like I hope you can hear that I'm saying it in bold because I really want to drive that part home. And then again, trusting in the divine timing of things. Even if things are feeling slow for you right now, understanding that, again, we're in that Pisces season where it's like the chapter is closing and we really have to feel into it. I wish that, you know, here's what happens. If you just shut a door and you step forward into a new one without taking that time of like reflection on the past, you just open a door to a repeated cycle. When we really want to experience change and transformation and alchemizing what's occurred in our lives, it requires us to pause, to really reflect, to really do the process of the inner work, the healing and the alchemization, to face the shadow of it, right? So yes, you may want to just slam the door shut and be like, okay, well, what's next? But what's next can't come unless we really process what we're leaving behind. So, you know, if you're going through like, I don't know, I'm just going to use this as like an example. If you're going through breakups or you're going through like a major change in your job or even in your personal brand, it's like, yes, it's great that we have friends that are like, want to get us out of the house and help keep our minds busy so we're not, but really that is such a damaging thing. It's like, oh, keep your mind off of it. Or, oh, this person, you know, took you to a festival, or this person wanted to show up to help get your mind off of things. Okay, but also know that we are in the energy of you've got to feel it to heal it. And if you don't feel it to heal it, you're just going to recirculate the same patterns. They just keep showing up in different ways in the next relationship. So, or the next job or the, you know, whatever. So making sure that you're really, I'm hearing for someone you are going through, someone could be going through a breakup. I'm also hearing there's like a change in the cycle in your current relationship. It's like things are shifting. Deepen the connection and the communication if that's you. Celebrating where the relationship is going, and also like taking a little bit of time to just say, you know, I'm so grateful that this is where we are, because when we were here, this is how it made me feel. And these are, some of the things that I'm noticing, and really just allow that conversation to happen with this other person. I'm hearing I'm hearing relationships. So this could be friendships, it could be at work, things like that. But, could also be romantic. Thank you. Okay. Yeah. This is a variety of relationships, but for some of you, it's kind of like, if you're hearing this and it's for you, it's for you. If you're not sure, it might not be for you. With that being said, I'm hearing this pretty clearly, the most important relationship you can have is the one that you have with yourself. Okay. I know that shows up on pretty memes, but the truth is, that is actually very important, and it's coming through pretty clearly from my guides to share with you right now in this message. Is like, this is the time to really deepen and strengthen that connection and relationship that you have with yourself. And this is where those like soul aligned desires and all the authenticity, that's where that comes from. So throughout the rest of the week then, March 5th, which is right there in the middle of the week, Jupiter is sextiling Neptune. So this is a highly spiritual transit as well. Again, about dreaming big, expanding your vision, trusting the intuition. That's actually a big day for manifestation and divine expansion. And what I mean by that is like, this is where that divine timing is starting to work out for you. If you really use that energy, you can start receiving those psychic downloads. You'll start noticing the synchronicities and the intuitive nudges, and like pausing, right? Really stopping and reflecting on it. Heck, do a vision board that day. Fire writing or scripting, right? And again, I have those practices inside the membership there. And again, soul aligned goal setting and intention setting. Trusting that timing again instead of forcing the outcomes. No forcing with this, right? Like, we're following our intuition, even if it defies logic, even if it doesn't make sense on paper or in the human form, trusting that intuition and trusting those nudges that you're getting. And then March 7th, Friday, Mars is conjuncting Pluto in Aquarius. Here is a major energy shift. This is a day of deep transformation, power shifts, and I want you to like think of the word intensity, like that's the key theme for that day. So you can see why it's important to really use the energy this weekend and leading into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and next weekend after that, to kind of set the tone for that, like lay the solid foundation for that before those transformative days come. So you might experience things like breakthroughs in your personal power, independence, and collective change. So what do I mean by that is like, you may just like wake up that day and that's one of those days where it's like, F this, I'm done. Or you know what I mean? It's like you're ready to just rip the Band-Aid off and I'm done playing small. I'm done dimming my light. I am done hiding. I am ready to be seen, to be felt, to be heard. And I know my worth, right? Like that is your like day to really step into your bold power. And you could also be seeing that in the collective. So when you're seeing that in other people, be mindful of where your thoughts and your energy goes. If you see that in someone and you're like, ew, she sounds cocky. Oh, look at that person. Trust that they're just finding their way of standing in their power. It's also a time of like, you've got to let go of the fear and truly step into your most authentic self. If you are not, listen, your coach, your leader, your mentor, your best friend, we don't need recycled and regurgitated versions of other people. You have got to connect to your most authentic self at that deep soul level. Otherwise, you're stepping into another cycle of just repeated patterns and the same old, because you are just regurgitating things that have been happening in the past and things that other people are already telling you. So, through that time, again, be mindful of your thoughts to really avoid reactivity. Because Pluto is intense. Remember, intensity, right? It can stir up those conflicts. It can, get us, trigger some of the darker emotions or thoughts in us, right? Some of that shadow side. If that happens, catch yourself as quickly as you can, kind of reflect on that a little bit, and really try to channel the energy of like empowerment, right? Love. I'm always going to tell you to do things through love, right? But patience, grace, understanding, and also standing in your bold inner power and your authority. And really, it's a great time for you to focus on what you're ready to like completely releasing in order to step into this new season. It's like that is the day. I'm almost seeing it as like a lightning strike, like a lightning bolt, and it just like breaks everything down that needs to go. And you, again, are like that lotus that's emerging up through the mud, or the phoenix that's rising up from the ashes. So, again, here we are in Pisces season. This is going to last until March 20th. Oh, it is 11:11 a.m. on my clock as I am recording this. That's twice in this reading, so definitely look that up and pay attention there. Okay, so Pisces season, we're in this until March 20th. It is a time of endings. Personal closure, spiritual closure, deep, deep surrender. And what I mean by surrender is not dissociation. Do not confuse the two. I'm going to be doing a little masterclass on that. Surrender is fully trusting. It is not detachment. It's just kind of detachment, but it's not dissociation. Okay. So it's not like I don't give a F, right? It's not IDGAF. It is fully trusting. So you're going to notice like closing out karmic cycles before this new astrological year comes. You're going to notice deepening connection with the spiritual side, the emotional side. Remember the water, tears, right? Tears are good. Crying is good. It's okay. 4141 on the timer as I say that message is for someone. You could be 41 years old. Your birthday could be on the 14th, or you might be seeing that number 4141 or 1414, I'm hearing. So again, just trusting divine timing, allowing things to unfold as we carry and move through Pisces season. Lots of meditation, lots of journaling, lots of dream work, releasing control. Remember, like, loosen the grip. I know we're trying to control, but really just embracing the unknown. And we can prepare for the upcoming Aries season, which then kicks off on March 21st. We can prepare for that season by really refining our intentions. Remember, this is that time, like I said, that you can really use this as if it's your new year. I've never been one to get on the like new year, new me trends, especially on January 1st. I don't even believe the new year is on January 1st. That's for a whole other channeled session. But Aries season is really what kicks off the new year for us. And this is where you can start to experience new beginnings, bold, inspired action, really stepping into your inner power, stepping into your leadership. But it comes after the deep reflection in Pisces, right? And that's the time we get to move forward with clarity. But if we want to move forward with clarity, we have to really utilize this Pisces season and this current energy to sit in reflection and do the inner work. Tying up those loose ends before you're rushing into something new, right? Aligning your actions with your true soul-aligned desires. If I could put that on repeat through this, I would. So, my loves, thank you so much. We are in a sacred portal of transformation, right? Where these endings kind of meet the new beginnings. And, just permission granted. Not that you need it, but sometimes I feel like as humans, we need to hear it. It's like permission granted. Allow yourself to dream bigger. Reflect on the shit and the crap that you've been through and release it. Let it go. Trust that the universe is aligning you with exactly what you need for your highest good and your highest potential. My only question for you, now that you have this awareness and now that you know all of this, are you willing to listen to that inner nudge, to that inner guidance? Are you willing to do the inner work that your soul is so deeply desiring to carry you forward to? I love you. I am sending you all my love, so much abundance, and so many blessings for the week ahead. Talk soon.